You'll be learning more about both the creation of the mural and its glamorous subject in the coming weeks here on Mountain Lake Journal. Every 2 years, quilters who belong to the Champlain Valley Quilters Guild here in New York host their quilt show at the SUNY Plattsburgh Fieldhouse, which year after year offers a dazzling display of their creative talents that often are used to help people in need. Our Derek Muirton takes us there.
Believe it or not, quilting is as old as the pharaohs. And now, in 2019, there is even a renaissance of quilt making throughout North America. Why is quilting so popular? Well, we're going to look at some spectacular quilts made by people from our area, and they're going to tell us what the fascination is behind the quilt.
The Champlain Quilters Guild of New York is a regional outreach program whose purpose is twofold. First, it promotes the skills of quilting to anyone who is interested, and it is also an outreach program whose handmade quilts and other quilted items go to help those in need of a little comfort and warmth. In fact, just about every quilt on display here will be eventually given away. Quilters say a thank you and a smile is payment enough. I met up with Jean Welch, a master quilter in her own right and guild member, who gave me a tour of just some of the quilts in this year's show.
This is absolutely gorgeous.
This is a stunning quilt, and
It looks old.
it looks old, but it's brand new, and
Really?
it is old technique combined with modern color. This is all hand applique. Every single one of these small pieces was folded under on the edge and stitched by hand with an old-fashioned needle. So why do I say a combination of old and new?
Right.
Because look at this, the shiny fabric,
Yeah.
the batiks,
Right.
the bright colors.
That you wouldn't see in an old quilt.
No, you wouldn't. So it's old and it's new.
This just looks so traditional. This looks like it's a very old quilt, is it?
No, it isn't. It's brand new.
Really?
Probably never used. This was made by Nancy Wild, and it's a very traditional pattern using what are called reproduction fabrics, which are new fabrics made to look like old fabric.
Now, do you get the fabrics in those shapes, or you got to cut the shape?
Oh, you have to cut all of the shapes.
Okay. So every shape in here is a different cutting.
Yes, it is.
What a cute little quilt. Perfect for a little dog.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely gorgeous.
But it's completely different than the ones we've seen up to this point.
Yes, it is, and that's what makes quilting so wonderful, because anything is accepted today.
How is that made? What is the fabric? What's going on?
Well, it's made by piecing different fabrics together, and then the actual dog is actually called thread painting.
The fur on the dog. This stuff.
Yes,
There's a million of them.
yes, there are.
Wow.
And you get the different colors by using different color thread. She would have put the dog together first with fabric, and to give the texture, that is where the thread painting comes in.
Very nice. This is just absolutely vibrant. One of my favorites. Is this in the tradition of a quilt? Am I looking at traditional design here?
You are, really. That's
Yeah.
a good way of putting it, because what this would be is called a strip quilt.
Strip
Strip quilt.
Okay.
So they are various width strips.
Okay. All of them. Yeah,
all
I see
of
it.
them, that are then stitched together to make the block.
Yes.
And what happens a lot of times with quilters, and this happened traditionally hundreds of years ago, is you're left with all of these scraps.
Yeah.
And so you take the strips, and there probably were scraps from other quilts. You put
Yeah.
them together to make a whole new quilt.
Oh, so nothing goes to waste.
So nothing
Uh-huh.
goes to waste.
My grandmother would like that.
She would, and she probably did the same thing with grain bags like my mother.
At first glance, this looks like stained glass.
Yes, it does. And it is now a very popular thing for people to do. And I think it takes a very special person to actually cut every single individual piece and in their mind to be able to figure out how it goes back together to get the depth and to actually get the various shapes.
And then you throw a reflection in the water on top of everything.
Yes, you do.
And it's very complicated.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And I see a lot of ribbons hanging down the border of that thing. Well deserved, I'm sure.
Yes.
Down through the ages, quilting has been passed on from one tribe to another, one generation to another, and one tradition to another. And now, with a leg up on the 21st century, quilting is actually enjoying a renaissance. And nothing could please the members of the Champlain Valley's Quilters Guild of New York more, nor the grateful recipients of their talents and generosity. For People Near Here on Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Derek Muirden.
People Near Here on Mountain Lake PBS is supported by Valcour Brewing Company.